Caitlin Clark is probably out for at least 3-4 weeks.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin Clark.
Here we go again. The WNBA's biggest star, their ratings magnet, their billion-dollar business driver, has gone down with another injury. Fans aren't just upset this time. They're furious. Once again, the league that should be protecting its most valuable player failed to do so, and now the backlash is hitting hard.
Yup. Caitlin Clark dealing with that groin issue. And now, this just occurred to me. Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left. Caitlin Clark dealing with an injury, not looking like herself. The game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing.
On June 26, 2025, the Indiana Fever announced Caitlin Clark would miss their matchup against the Los Angeles Sparks with a left groin injury. Thing about that, this is the same player who hadn't missed a single game since 2017. 8 straight years without sitting out. And now, 2 injuries in just over a month. First, a quad strain kept her sidelined for 5 games. And instead of protecting her, the league let her take more punishment. Now she's hurt again.
The fallout has begun. The Indiana Fever are literally taking what looks like the most valuable women's athlete asset that has come around in I don't know how many years. Certainly for women's basketball, they are taking this asset, an asset that I contend is worth more than every player in the WNBA combined. I'm keeping it real. All right. That's the draw. That's the aura. That's the brand. She is the WNBA. I've said, I contend she ought to be, her 3-point shot should have already been changed. That should be the logo of the WNBA. Of course, the old school WNBA fans.
Coach Stephanie White learned of Clark's latest injury late last night, calling it day-to-day. Clark herself reported pain after the team's West Coast road trip, a stretch where she went 0 for 6 from 3 in 2 of 3 games, something that had never happened in her career. That's no coincidence. That's what happens when a player gets beaten down night after night, while referees stand by and allow it.
The groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our
Who gives a shit how she responds to treatment? Keep her out for a week. Keep her out for a week or 2. Let's make sure she's healthy. 110%, 150%. Fuck this treatment bullshit. Rest her. Sit her down. We want to make sure you're okay. Yeah, you might have a day or 2 where you feel good. We want to make sure that you have a career where you feel good.
The numbers don't lie, and they're brutal. National WNBA broadcasts are down 55% since Clark's first injury. Fever games alone are down 53%, from an average of 1.81 million viewers with Clark to just 847,000 without her. That's not just a decline, that's a collapse. The data proves it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star in this league. She is the league.
As we watch the WNBA every day because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA. I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She's going for a year or 2, Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate money?
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. But here's where the real outrage lies. WNBA referees and their utter failure to protect the league's most valuable asset. The pattern of Clark being hacked, shoved, and targeted has been obvious all season, but it boiled over on June 17th against the Connecticut Sun. J.C. Sheldon poked Clark in the eye. Clark pushed back in frustration, and then Marina Mabrey blindsided her with a cheap shot that sent her crashing to the floor. The referees? They gave Mabrey a technical foul, the same penalty as arguing with an official.
Caitlin Clark getting basically wrecked. This is one of the worst decisions that I have ever seen any league engage in. Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw for a team sport in my life relative to the audience that would be fans of the sport without her. Bigger than Michael Jordan was for the NBA, bigger than any NFL star has ever been. All of those sports were very popular before those athletes got there. Caitlin Clark is the golden goose. Every game she is dropping golden eggs, and they are trying to strangle the golden goose to death. It's one of the dumbest.
The officiating was so bad that the WNBA later admitted the refs lost control. They eventually upgraded Mabrey's foul to a flagrant 2, but only after outrage from the public. That's not accountability. That's damage control. Journalist Christine Brennan said it plainly. The WNBA continues to fail at protecting Clark. She pointed out how absurd it was that Mabrey stayed in the game after throwing Clark to the floor, while Sophie Cunningham was ejected later in that same game for a different foul. Fans immediately called out the double standard.
The WNBA needs to clean up. I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabrey. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop.
Coach Stephanie White hasn't held back. She's pointed to a minus 31 free throw discrepancy and called out the unbelievable disrespect her team is facing. Her players, especially Clark, attack the rim constantly, yet the whistle stays silent. White summed it up clearly. When officials lose control of the game, this is the result. Meanwhile, whereas Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, silent. When asked about Clark being targeted, Engelbert brushed it off, saying fans just want certain outcomes. She even praised the physical play as rivalry. But this isn't rivalry, it's negligence.
Folks, this is the same person that said the left quad injury that she suffered most recently was a different left quad injury than the one from the preseason. They are treating us like fools. I'm supposed to sit here and eat up this nonsense? You guys rushed her back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. And then you rushed her back again. And then within rushing her back, she was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas surrounding that quad. That leads us to our most recent groin injury.
The fan backlash is unlike anything the WNBA has seen. Social media is exploding with demands for accountability, and some fans are even threatening boycotts. The irony? The league that finally found its audience thanks to Clark is now at risk of losing them because it can't protect her, and the stakes are enormous. Clark accounted for 26.5% of the league's total economic activity in 2024, with projections up to $1 billion in 2025. Her games regularly drew 2+ million viewers, with the opener peaking at 2.7 million, numbers unseen in 25 years. Now, with her out again, ratings are set to crater.
The Gateway Pundit did the WNBA finally kill its golden goose after a year and a half of public beatings in a league full of the women who despise her? Caitlin Clark may be finished. Why did Steph play CC in last minute of game? We already know the beats, the fouls, the hard fouls, the flagrant fouls. We know it's taking a toll on her. It's counting up. And, I think it's catching up at this point, honestly. It ain't that serious. I'd rather just kick the can on the season if she's really that injured. Juju and Caitlin next year sounds a lot better than Caitlin still battling injuries. Rest Kate.
The timing could not be worse. The WNBA was riding unprecedented momentum. Website traffic up 500%, hotel bookings soaring around fever games, and a $75 million practice facility under construction. All of that is in jeopardy because the league failed at the most basic job: protect your stars. This disaster was preventable. The refs simply needed to call fouls when Clark was grabbed, shoved, and targeted. Instead, they created a culture where beating her up became acceptable, and now their billion-dollar engine is breaking down.
But I will contend, and I will die on this hill, that she has been hurt for as long as this 3-point streak, the struggling streak. Look, guys, it's one thing to struggle and be like 5 of 23 or 6 of 23 or some shit like that. 1 of 23 tells you there is something physically off about the shot. All right, she'll miss her 6th game of the year tonight against the LA Sparks. We don't know how long she's going to be out.
Look at the NBA. Superstars get superstar calls because refs know the league depends on them. In the WNBA, their biggest star gets poked in the eye, shoved to the floor, and hacked with no protection. The fallout is clear. Clark's MVP odds dropped from even money to plus 210. Ticket prices for marquee matchups fell 42% after news of her injury. The market is screaming what the league won't admit. Clark is the draw. Without her, the interest vanishes. Now the WNBA has a choice: fix this mess and protect the stars, or keep making the same mistakes.
She had a preseason injury that was the quad. Then it was an aggravation of the quad, and now it's the groin on the same side of the body. I would not be betting her MVP. I don't think it's that important to the team. I don't want to say it's not important to her, but to sit here and bet her at 2.25 at BetMGM is not something I have any interest in. I was happy to bet her the day before she came back when it was 450, 475. But now that you're at 2.25 and we have another injury, a different injury, no, you will not get my money on MVP. No way. Now, title's a different story. You could still bet them 5-1 to win the title. If they just make sure that she's cool and are precautionary with this, of course they could win the title. But I'm pumping the brakes on anything in season, whole season, big picture, because
fans aren't just angry anymore. They're organized. Campaigns are calling for referee suspensions, firings, and a complete overhaul of officiating. The message is simple: fix this problem or lose the audience Clark brought in. The tragedy? The WNBA finally had the attention, the revenue, and the relevance it had been chasing for years, all thanks to one player. And their response? Let her get targeted until she got hurt twice. It's malpractice. And the numbers prove it. 21 to 24 WNBA broadcasts that broke 1 million viewers feature Clark. With her, 1.19 million average. Without her, just 394,000.
You're good. One thing I admire about Caitlin, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players. You don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I done seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
This injury couldn't have come at a worse time. The most anticipated rematches, the Commissioner's Cup, the big-time matchups, all watered down. Fans who were buying tickets, merchandise, and investing their time are now wondering if it's worth it. The referee problem isn't new, but Clark's injuries have magnified it. When your most valuable player, the one driving a quarter of your league's economy, gets hurt because refs refuse to make obvious calls, you have a systemic crisis. And through it all, Clark kept playing. She battled injuries, used heating pads, and still averaged 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists. That's not just toughness. That's carrying a league that doesn't appreciate her.
Caitlin Clark's injuries are something that I used to pray for because I understood the relevance of her in the WNBA. And much like a rising tide lifts all boats, if there is no tide, the boats don't get lifted. And Caitlin Clark is somebody that has talked about the pressure of playing all these games because she knows just how many people go to these games to see her play, like all the kids, all the grandmas, all the families. And I 100% get that. And it's great to hear that she is paying attention to her body.
The WNBA had lightning in a bottle with Caitlin Clark. A generational talent who brought unprecedented attention, revenue, and legitimacy to the league. And they're letting it slip away because they can't protect her from dirty play and bad officiating. The next few weeks will tell the story. Ratings will fall without her. If fans boycott, if sponsors get nervous, if the momentum collapses, the WNBA will have only itself to blame. They forgot the first rule of sports entertainment. Protect your stars. Clark should have had a fortress built around her.